Now we're good with that. So we are finally live. Parks, Recreation, and Harbor Advisory Committee. Parks and Recreation Director Tracy Willett sitting in as a temporary leader of the table. Soon to be changed here in a few minutes. As we typically do, let's go around the table. I'm gonna look straight ahead to me. Start with Member Trot and work our way around the table for introductions.
Rich Trott, I've been part, I think, for 2 years, my second year, and that's it.
John Hyatt, committee member, first year.
Leah McBriarty, committee member.
Debbie Jandro, Assistant Director, 16 years.
Hi, guys, I'm Carissa. I am now part of Bangor Parks and Rec. This is my first committee meeting. Thank you.
Michaela Pelkey, committee member.
Kim Boucher, committee member.
Pamela Crop Anderson, committee member representing the golf course, returned to Park and Rec after a multi-year hiatus.
William Warner, committee member.
And again, Tracy Willett, Parks and Recreation Director. Let's do the December minutes. If you haven't had a chance to look, I know we just got them here a couple minutes ago, but please take a look if you can and offer any edits. If not, if they're fine as presented, I would entertain a motion.
I move we approve the December minutes.
Second.
Thumbs up, everybody's good with them? Perfect, thank you. Next item for you all. So, this committee has had a chairperson for a few years now. I think the outgoing chair, Ryan, did it for 2 terms in a row. It's essentially an individual member of you all to lead these meetings. You are appointed by council. This committee is appointed by council. It's been recently that we've gone through the process of electing a chairperson. It's essentially someone to lead the meetings, as Ryan did. If there are particular agenda items or items that you want to talk through to the chair, to staff, that's an option, but by practice, that really hasn't happened. You all have had a pretty good rapport with us as staff. Council appointed committees, whether advisory or actually policymaking committees, should have a chairperson, and they should not necessarily be led by staff. For years, that was the case, and we've worked to change that. So the first agenda item tonight is for you all to elect a chairperson of your committee. And the way this will work, we'll take nominations from the floor. They do not necessarily need a second. If there is only one, then there'll be essentially a motion unless doubted. If there's more than one, we might actually have to vote and work through the process that way. Questions about that? Pretty easy process. So saying that, staff would now entertain motions from the table for a chairperson for the coming year.
I nominate Kim Boucher.
Second.
Was that a second from Kim or is?
No, that's a second from me.
A second from you? And Kim's a willing participant?
Yes.
All right.
Easy peasy.
Are there any other nominations from the floor? Seeing no doubts, it will be a motion. Congratulations, you're now the chairperson for 2025 of the
Yay.
Park Rec and Harbor Advisory Committee. So I believe you have an agenda in front of you. I will now stop talking and let you lead the meeting.
All right, we're on to Assistant Director updates.
All right, well, I'm gonna start. So the position of Recreation Coordinator, as you guys know, because we've been meeting every month, has been available since the beginning of September. We've gotten many applicants, and through those applicants and many months of searching and interviewing, we finally and are very excited to have hired Carissa for this position, and she is absolutely not even a stranger to us. So it's somebody that we know very well. And so I'm going to let herself introduce herself to you guys and tell you why she's not a stranger.
Okay, well, nice to meet you guys. I have been with Parks and Rec for probably close to 2 years. I have worked in almost all of our departments. So everything from driving the Zamboni over at Sawyer to operating the pools in the summertime, both pools, all the staff, to childcare, to maintenance in the parks, whatever it is, I am there. I'm pretty familiar with how things operate around here, so after filling in from, our loss, it felt pretty natural to just fill in, take the position full time. So I'm happy to be here and thank you guys for having me.
So happy.
It's been a great addition to us. Like Krista said, she's been with us for a long time and, at the beginning, we were interviewing, it didn't apply and, it was, something that we wanted her to, but she didn't want to. And then we threw her in that position to kind of help out in the meantime and then she decided this is good.
Yeah.
This is what she wants.
The
And so,
benefits were good enough and I said, okay.
so we're very happy and, excited to have her on board.
Congratulations. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Yeah.
Is there any other parts of the update or is that?
No, I could go into the programming. Sure. Okay, so I know we have something big on the agenda right after this, so I'm just gonna quickly go over some of the winter program that we have going on right now. One of our biggest ones is basketball. Our second and third grade, as some of you are aware, and some of you aren't, basketball years back, before 3 years ago, we only had second and third and fourth and fifth because middle school, throughout the schools have a program. And there was a lot of middle schoolers that were left out that didn't make the teams. And so we decided to start a middle school program. So when that happened a couple of years ago, we don't have enough time in gym space and winter time to host everybody at the same time. So we had to split it up. So we just hosted a second and third grade basketball this coming Saturday. It's a 6-week program. This coming Saturday is the last day of games. So this 6 weeks is going to be over. We didn't have a snow day, so we don't have any makeup. So this is great. We had 14 teams of second and third grade just in Bangor. So there are other communities around that for some reason their basketball numbers are going down, but ours are not. They continue to rise and it's great. So our fourth and fifth and middle school basketball is starting in a couple weeks. Chris and I started making teams this week and we are struggling on finding some coaches. We have another 14 teams for that age group. So a total of 26 teams just for house basketball. And of course, travel, we had 8. So we're over, what's that, 32 teams of Bangor basketball teams, which is incredible. One of our struggles is finding coaches for that many teams. Our coaches are volunteer. And so, we ask them to come in and a lot of them do and they step up. But with that many teams, it's really hard to find so many. It gets to the point in the last couple of days,
Today specifically.
today. And practices start Monday. And trying to find coaches and, emailing them saying your kid's on the team, but there's no coach. And so it's really tough sometimes. But people do step up, but with only one gym and a few schools that we can use, I can't practice here and I can't do this and I can't do that. And it's a tough situation to put these kids, these teams and us and trying to figure it all out. It's a battle, but it's a battle that we get it done every year. So that's what's happening in basketball. And we do have K1 instructional. That's not even a part of that either. That starts in a few weeks as well. So basketball is really booming here in Bangor and numbers are going up. So it's great. So additional programs we have Learn to Skate. Actually, Chris has been working a lot with Learn to Skate on the advertising and marketing of that stuff. Anybody's interested in Learn to Skate at Sawyer Arena, on our website, there's a great flyer on there. This is what it is. And it tells people always call, when do you have open skate? Do you have stick and puck and stuff like that? We have on our website, we have a flyer on there and it says, I'll put this in the middle of the table or I'll pass this around. It has when we only have one ice sheet. We have a lot of hockey teams, youth hockey teams, high school hockey teams. There's not a lot of ice time available. So those are the only times that we do have public skate and figure skating and stick and puck. There's not many, but we do have sometimes. So if you guys are in your travels and people wonder what's going on, just shoot them to our website and have that information on there. We still have our baton program. We had to push them to a different school because they were in Parks and Rec, but we have basketball. So, we had to throw them to a school, which is great because we work very well with schools. Preschool open gym, we still have Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, every morning free for anybody to come in with their preschoolers. We do ask that it's just preschoolers, that come with their parents or their grandparents or their aunts and uncles. There's tons of toys and scooters and buggies and stuff to ride on. That's from 9:30 to 11:30 on 3 days a week. It's very popular. You go on there on any day and there's, I don't know, 40 to 60 something people in there. And as a really cold days, it gets really, really busy. We started our Herman Mountain snowboard and ski lessons Tuesday, so a couple nights ago. Yep. How many trails open? 1, 2?
At least 2. I went down 2 at least.
So there's only a couple trails open, but they make it work, for lessons for these little kids, so they can learn how to ski. So that again is a popular program. We have not put a session 2. Session 1 is 4 weeks. We have not put a session 2 together along with Herman Mountains. We've decided together just to wait to see how the snow goes. As you guys know, lately, there's been a lot of rain and heat and stuff like that, so we're just waiting on that. We are again offering this year Sugarloaf discount tickets, again, another winter sport. We do have 7 dates that are in place as of right now. Next weekend's one of them, January 18th and 19th. The ticket prices did go up, actually quite a bit for Saturdays. Sundays, they didn't go up. I don't know if any of you guys know about Sugarloaf. They opened up the West Mountain. They made a whole other section of Sugarloaf, new trails, new lifts. So they've increased their prices with us. Yes, they are $80-something a piece, but if you go to the mountain, it's $148 a piece. So it is still a great discount. It's just still very pricey, but that's on a Saturday. Sundays, adult ticket is $64 and then youth is $50-something. So it's almost just about half price as if walking up to the ticket counter. Our annual Valentine's Daughter Dance is coming up. February, let me look at that, 8th, I think it is. It's on a Saturday. We just started selling tickets 2 days ago. Tickets are going very well.
Very fast. Yeah.
We're hoping back in the day, we used to sell out at 1,000. Of course, in, 2020, things kind of just dropped a little bit and then it was like half and now it's starting to creep back up to the 600, 700. So the way the tickets are selling this week, we're hoping to get in the 700-800 range again of tickets. That's at the Cross Insurance Center. You don't have to be a Bangor resident to come to these. None of our programs need to be Bangor residents. If it's a program like this, there's just a little non-resident fee. So non-residents can come. What else do we have going on? Oh, the Q race. Well, we are in January, so I have to just bring it up because we are going to put it live by February 1st. It's going to go live, and so people can start registering. We're going to do what we did last year. We're going to do an early bird registration. It's so much easier for us to operate this race when we have early registrants. So we're going to start the early registration February 1st. The date of the race is the 19th. We did look at the tide, thank you, Tracy, on this one. And it seems that we could still start at 10 a.m. this year, which is wonderful. Everybody's gonna love that.
Is that April 19th?
Yes, April 19th, 10 a.m. start time for the canoe race. Timing system every year we talk to you guys about, and you guys can interrupt anytime, I'm just rambling away. The timing system last year, I was looking at my notes last year, and we had brought to you guys that we were gonna look into a new system. Our timing system is kind of touch and go, but it honestly has never failed us yet. There's been some
Why would you say that out loud?
close calls.
Why would you say that out loud in public meeting? Who hired her, huh?
So after looking at these other systems out there, it's so intense and there's so much more to it that we would have to change the ways of how we operate as well. And so we're sticking with it, sticking with what we do. So we're gonna go with that. Our before and after school program, once again, is extremely popular. Our numbers are just about what they were last year with 1 or 2, just around 75 in the morning. every day and 110 in the afternoon. We do have openings, so if anybody's looking for before or after school care, one or the other or both, we have 5 different options that people can do. They have to be in the Bangor school system for our before and after school program, though. That is a resident program. And then, of course, now we're starting to think about, that's not on here, is summer stuff. We got to start thinking about our summer soccer camps, basketball camps and everything. We have not even started, but we need to start now. And so those will start coming up within the next month and a half on our website as we get going on those. So that's what's going on in the programming section of our side.
Busy.
Yeah.
My daughter's already talking about Monster Camp, so
Oh, really?
she's excited.
Yeah, Fairmount. She likes it at Fairmount.
Yes, yes. And mini camp, yeah. Okay, and I know you were talking a lot about challenges with basketball courts and ice rinks, so we're gonna go right over to the
Yes.
review of the facilities master plan and project recommendations.
So, tonight's last item, other than other business for you all, is just to have a conversation, a review. For some of you, maybe new, back in 21, 22, we completed facilities master plan and it laid out chronological, short, near, mid, and long-term goal for facilities around the city for park and rec facilities. What I've done tonight is pull some pages from that. If I recall, it's about a 100-page document. And just have a conversation for a few minutes about kind of the track and the path that we have been taking in our capital improvement plan. Review kind of our logic going forward, and just to get feedback and conversation with you all to make sure we're all thinking the same thing. So, saying that, I pulled some copies. These are 2-sided, and I hope there's enough, but
You can share.
off you go. So again, as a reminder, we completed this survey in 21, and the timing seems about right. We will be starting the budget process at the city level for the end of this month into next month. What's interesting and for kind of context and reference, this has been a very active document for us. So the work that went into creating it and working with a consultant and finally having council approve it, it's been a very busy working document for us as we have planned our capital improvement projects in what is consistently a 5-year plan for city departments. To that end, if you're looking at the short, I think some of the short-term fiscal year 23 projects are in some of what you have there. Many of these recommended projects have been done or are in the process of being done. The Condesa Extreme Trail lighting, we've been working on that along the way. Some of the work at Cascade, the landscape management plan we did for Cascade. And those recommendations mirrored the higher level recommendations that Regina had in the master plan. We've been working on that. A lot of the pool resurfacing we did, the lighting work that Union Street we're working on. We've done the feasibility study for the rec center. And that's been very active process. So we use this plan as a reference for many of the capital projects that we include in our 5-year improvement plan. The parking lot improvements at Essex Woods. That got done as a result of this master plan. If you haven't been up to Essex Woods, the dog park, it's actually a parking lot now versus the big old gravel pad, and the improved lighting up there. So some context and history of it. And the discussion here tonight with you is to kind of bring attention to a couple of things that are now in the 26 areas. Cascade Park and Community Garden.
Can I just ask a question, please?
Yeah.
Are these the completed projects that you handed to us
No.
or no? Because I don't see Cascade Park anywhere on here.
Is there a page 57 in there?
Yes.
Midterm project, 57, yeah.
So where is Cascade Park?
Did it not get printed?
I see
Oh,
the
is it
community
blank on there?
gardens, Union Street, Williams
Oh,
Park.
yeah,
Yeah.
number 26 might be it.
Yeah, it's not on here. Which is probably what that is.
So you may be missing a page that,
Does everybody?
Yeah,
have that except for me?
I have a blank there as well.
all right, so that one page didn't get included. So my apologies for that.
Okay, I just wanted
So everybody's missing it.
to.
Okay.
Yeah.
But Cascade Park is separate anyways. We have a different feasibility study for it.
So let me just go through Cascade Park, the short-term plan, that's been completed. So as part of the landscape management plan that we completed, it was recommendation to follow through with, the designation with Park Service for historic places. We've started to investigate and look into that. It's a two-step process, starting with the state of Maine and working up to, National Park Service. We have done the master plan. That is completed. The next big critical piece at Cascade will be what was identified as utility and facility improvements. And I'll talk about that in a second. The short-term plan was, recommendation was for some sort of addition, either a splash pad or other feature at Dakin Pool. The Friends of Dakin have been back in discussion with Deb about some potential projects over there. They have done some fundraising. So Deb's been working closely with them. That could be, there was no dollar amount attached to that. The surfacing at Dakin Pool did get done. We initially hoped to do that together with Franco. The bids came in much higher than anticipated. So we focused on Dakin being the oldest and most need first. That got done last summer. Panko still has some life in the surface, but that will be next. We'll have to work. We still have a balance from the appropriation we got last year to do both pools. So our hope is to couple a new appropriated amount with the existing amount to plan on Panko. That sound right? So you have Condescade Stream Trail in front of you all. Did that page get missed too? That should be page 55.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Let's pick up with that. And again, I apologize for missing Cascade. I do want to come back to Cascade because we've got a larger ticket item on there. I just wanted to give you a heads up on that we're going to do something at Cascade Park. So we did have our city engineering take a quick look at the pedestrian bridge on Condescade Stream Trail. That's obviously the bridge. It's just outside the parking lot here. What gets asked often is it's the perception is that its condition, the way it was designed and built, it has wooden planks that are secured to the bridge frame by either a long wooden rail or metal strip. Those planks were intended to have spaces, and there is some rattling that happens, for lack of a better term, as you cross the bridge. We have been keeping up with the wooden planks on a pretty regular basis, replacing those on a pretty regular basis. It's probably gonna be time to look at that. The structure of the bridge is sound. The piers are sound. It's essentially the deck of the bridge. That is becoming, it's not unsafe, it's just a regular maintenance task for us. Did you ever do planks down on the bridge?
Did we?
Did
No,
you? Yeah,
I did not
yeah,
personally,
yeah.
no. But I do know what you're talking about. The rattling is, yeah,
It can be disconcerting.
yeah.
The other project that was identified is a formal trailhead. There is some interest from one of the service organizations here in town, perhaps assist with that. Had a meeting with them last month. They're working on deciding if indeed this will be a project they take on. So that's what that is about. The retaining wall at Second Street Park, we actually buried that, so that no longer exists, and that was taken care of. And we have Public Works doing that. The removal of the retaining, there was a retaining wall at Talbot Park on the Shaw's End. That was remnants of a tank containment well when Bangor Gas Works was there many years ago. It was becoming an attraction for unwelcome behavior and a general graffiti spot. So we actually ended up burying it and landscaping it rather than having to dig it out. We're still trying to manage vegetation over there. And as you may have heard from some other public discussions, that may become part of the WISE project, but that's still a work in progress. So that takes us through page 55. Broad Street Park is still kind of a work in progress. In general terms, when you see references to Hemel Hamlin Parkway, which is the parkway between State Street and Central Street, and the entrance to the Art Museum, Art Museum, as well as Norm Vega Parkway, which is an extension of that from Franklin to Central. We need to have a larger discussion about the retaining walls on each side of those parkways in the stream. Some of those stones go back to probably the original construction. And we need to address that work first before any of the park improvements happen. So the park improvements here probably will get delayed. Or the recommendations anyway. So 55 is more about Condesce Extreme Trail, Oak Park. Page 57. You get to that point, a lot of community garden recommendation. So that takes us to FY 26, which will be the current budget year we'll be working on in the next few months. Are you all familiar with the community garden? I would be remiss if I did not mention that the community garden is already becoming busy. Taking returning gardeners now. There's a waiting list of 33.
How many lots? Yeah.
A total of 270 beds.
Wow.
At community garden. Community garden sits on Essex Street. The former Naval Reserve property. So I say that to as a segue to why many of these recommendations on here. Essentially, the beds sit on earth that was either there or we put there over time. The parking lot, the parking area is the same pavement as when the Naval Reserve there. The travel function, the car function, the roads that are up there are essentially the roads that were there when the Naval Reserve was there. And then we just maintain what we can maintain. The parcel continues up into, in behind the homes, in between essentially the homes on Essex Street and Broadway, and actually continues all the way to Millwood Avenue Extension behind Mary Snow School. Much of that is usable. So what is actually practically usable space with the garden is what we're using now. There's some flat areas that we could add some amenities, but the flat space that you see there now is what is usable space. And we've chosen to stay on the surface with raised beds versus dig into the ground at all over there. Just a better scenario all the way around. So I think the biggest recommendations in the plan thus far were to improve the parking, improve the flow of travel. Practically, folks don't sit in the parking lot, walk to their beds, they kind of drive to them. We use it as a service to the material piles in the back. Those are essentially piles now. And I think that's what I shared with you. Did you get to page 58? Is there a 58 in the handout you have? And or 59?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So those get you out to 27, 28. The plan goes until fiscal year 31, which when we first did this back in 21, 22, I thought, oh, yeah, no, we'll go, well, here we are in like fiscal year 26.
Question on the short term, midterm?
Yeah.
Short term describes a lot of stuff in 2023. One thing for the trails, 23, 24, 25, which is an ongoing.
Yeah.
And then we skip to midterm and go primarily right to 2026. I'm curious.
That was
in terms
intent
of
for tonight.
2024 and this upcoming 2025, there isn't really anything on the docket.
There is, so, let me go, so I have it, this is all on our website, so it sounds like I didn't do a very good job of copying information for you all.
Well, the pages that you have are chronological and that they're 55, 56, 57, 58, 59. It just seems like maybe the short term section is longer.
So,
It includes 24 and 25.
Sometimes the number that it shows when you're looking at it in PDF is not the same number that's on the page.
Oh, there's two sets of page numbers. So
6 of 15, 7
Yeah,
of
it's 9 of
15, 8 of 15.
so to answer your question today, Rich, I'm not sure why so I'm looking at it online now, to go along with you, and I see the same thing, so I'm not sure I'm looking at you.
Yeah.
There are,
Yes, it was in chronological.
Yeah, it was in
order. There
chronological.
was
so,
pages with the mid and the short altogether and then the long all included in that document. So
I'm not sure why those are missing, so to answer your question tonight, I can certainly follow up and make sure you all have those pages, no projects.
Okay.
I don't know why they're not.
I was just curious because I know we
Yeah.
talked about a lot of stuff that was happening.
Yeah.
In 24.
Yep.
And then I guess in the short term right now, which was 4 years ago, what's happening moving forward in 25?
So in 20, so this year we did, the lighting was part of that. What I don't see here, I'm gonna look over it, see if you can remember, Deb, the Essex Wood parking lot, that was a 24.
that was, and there was also like Union Street complex lights, which were in there.
That was a big one, the lighting,
Yeah.
replacing the lighting at Union Street. So
And the Cascade stuff, so there's a lot
the
there.
Cascade, the 24 was the man, 24 is the management plan, 25 was the survey, the boundary survey, and confirming boundaries and having topographical information for Cascade. That's been done, just got finished with Sewell. The organizational assessment was not in the master plan. So what I'm gonna do quickly while you all are, see if I can find it in our capital plan, which I should hopefully be able to do.
For the stalls out.
No, no,
And we talked about a lot of things that they were doing, so I'm sure
Yeah.
quite a bit of things, so.
You go through here and.
Was there anything in particular that you wanted to?
It wasn't necessarily in particular, other than, for example, Cascade Park, so. We've kind of held off on we finished. The landscape plan at Cascade Park, we just finished the boundary topographical information at Cascade Park. The reality is this, at Cascade, the plumbing is becoming more of a challenge than ever before. We're having issues with the leaking pool. We may end up having to,
More rhino lining.
well, funny you say that. If you know somebody that does that mobily, I'd like to hear from them.
I know that's what you did
That
last
does
time.
what?
So
What did you say?
rhino lighting.
Oh,
So
The truck beds.
Yeah.
in all seriousness, we many years ago had a similar leaking pool issue with Cascade and. I don't know how it came up, suggested, well, do I just use bed liner, rhino lighting? I don't know, why wouldn't we? So we essentially spray pickup truck bedliner in the pool and it's held for 20+ years. It's not holding up anymore. I don't know if that's an option. We have a leak somewhere else, potentially in the plumbing. So we may end up having to do some plumbing infrastructure work over there sooner than we had hoped, in that we were hoping to follow the layout of the master plan that Regina did for Cascade. It's estimated in this plan in the neighborhood of $260,000 to do that kind of work. That included bringing what's in the ground, circulating pumps, et cetera, out of the ground, creating a utility building that included restrooms. So I want to have a conversation, let you know about that. Talk about the community garden projects, and while I'm trying to thumb through to find our capital plan, kind of go through some of the things that have been done. And I think you all recognize, and we've shared with this group, that we work from this plan pretty regularly. It's been a pretty good document for us. Also, the capital plan is, we often have to replace equipment. Over the years, we've been able to replace play structures. That may not necessarily get reflected in this. However, we've been in a rotation of a play structure per year. The last one we did was at Hayford. We're also trying to create structures and create spaces that are all inclusive. So that's been kind of our logic with pieces and or features and events. The play structure replacement plan that we started on however many years ago has now essentially matured. It's been 15 to 18 years. So now we're back to potentially Talbot Park and Williams Park. Williams is showing more wear than Talbot. Not by much, but those structures will have to get replaced again. We've been fortunate to be able to use a program called Community Development Block Grant Funding to replace those in those neighborhoods. We replaced Talbot, Williams. We use CBG money for Down East. And I believe Bangor Gardens. But we have come full circle once again to have to start replacing play structures. So you start to see those identified again in our capital plan. So it was just to have a conversation with you all tonight. I'm not sure why the 24s aren't in there.
No, you know, Tracy, I'm thinking about this now. Everything is in there because what it was Regina did is a short-term plan. This was done in 21, 22. So short-term was really literally the 2 to 3 year plan up to 23. And then the mid 5-year plan started in, you know, that's where the 25, 26 is. So there is kind of like short-term plan, even though there isn't a 24 in there, it's still short-term plan. You can't get that. You still have that. Then there's, it's a document to show us that there's the short-term, there's the mids, and then the long-term are those other ones, which is more towards the 8-9 year away from the document that was produced. There isn't anything missing.
It just seemed, I hadn't noticed in a while until you brought it up.
Right.
There's no FY 24.
Was there
The
anticipation
pages are all
that?
chronological, so maybe there's like a 2-year window.
Time.
where
This is
Things
more of a
in
document.
23 got tabled a little bit, maybe things from the
Yeah.
short term got fast forwarded a little bit.
Yeah,
I'll give you.
It's a document for us to go by to guide us. So there's things in 23, 22, 33, we still haven't gotten to, you know,
Right.
so that's more, okay, let's
Catch up period.
catch up period, and there might be some mids that we can
Maybe
start earlier.
Is there a way to note on the website things that are done, like change the color or put a check mark or something so that someone
actually a
could
good
look at
point.
it
Yeah.
and know like, oh, look at all the progress we've made and what opportunities are still available?
That's not a
I could-
difficult, yeah, we
I
can
could do that
easily.
easily.
Cause
Yeah,
that
that's
would, I think that would be really gratifying for people to see and know that it's happening.
Yeah.
And even
Yeah.
to see if things are going ahead of schedule, just to
right, exactly.
affirm that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's-
green for complete, yellow for in progress.
That's a good idea.
Not yet.
Yeah, that's a good
Well, you
idea.
can put a
Not
check
yet.
box.
I was gonna
Done.
You
say,
can insert a check
this
box.
document is right on our website front page, so I can go in and just highlight all the boxes that are done and in progress.
And the
Very,
Cascade
very
Park
easy.
is also on the website?
That's a
That
totally
is a
separate
separate
assessment,
Okay.
yeah.
But it's
feasibility.
on there.
But it's on
Yeah.
there, yes, but it's totally separate. There was two things within this doc that were totally separate, you know, it was, well, first. It was our other feasibility of our building, and then Cascade Park. Those were two the things that were on here that needed to be done independently as well. They were too big. Yeah,
So I guess the bigger question for y'all, I mean, we'll continue to follow as best we can. Generally speaking, it looks like, we have really not done a whole lot at the garden other than to build beds and staff that. I mean, it's probably time to give that some attention, formalize the parking lot. And it's similar and analogous to me, what we did in Essex Woods, in that the parking lot, once we redid the parking lot, and actually create a parking lot, it changed the whole vision of the city up there.
Can I say something about the gardens?
You sure can.
Okay, well,
Wow, new girl has all
I'm
kinds
just,
of.
I've done a lot of work in the
I
garden,
know.
so, no discredit to maintenance. Maintenance has done a ton, like
For sure.
a ton of work over there, clearing space in the back. So we talked about how all of the raised beds are in this flat area currently, and there's maybe a little bit of room for other amenities, but not much. If you look at the change in what's happened in the last 2 years, all of the underbrush, all of the large trees up to the fence line has been almost completely cleared to like the stream. So it has changed quite a bit because of our maintenance staff, and
I'm glad you
a
mentioned
new,
that. Thank you. for that.
yeah, a new parking lot and road through there would just add to how good it's looking right now.
No, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's good. I'm glad you spoke up.
Is there any data about like yields or anything like that of what people are actually getting out of those gardens to
You-
support the
We
mission?
really don't manage it in that way. We
Like a
allow,
survey to the plot owner or the renters or whatever they're called?
They come back year after
Oh,
year.
I
and
know,
they
but I'm
want more
just curious,
beds,
like, are
so.
they growing?
So there
What are they
is-
growing and how much is it helping them out or what are they sharing or whatever?
Everybody's different. Some people just grow flowers.
Yeah, okay, cool.
They do
Some
a
grow
gourd
veg-
contest, if that tells you anything. They
Okay.
build a structure for
Well-
gourds and see how long they can grow them. It's very interesting. There's one gentleman over there, his name's Byron, and he is like the knowledge source. So I guarantee you go over there anytime in the summer, you'll find him, and he'll have all of the information on yields, what people are growing, what they're doing for projects. Yeah,
There was a giant pumpkin too.
yes,
Oh,
giant
is that the
pumpkins
one
as
in the back
well.
of the truck, is that him?
I'm
Yes,
not
it's like
entirely
so
sure.
small.
I don't know, but
Yeah.
Okay.
they get
Yeah.
very passionate
That's
about
fantastic.
their gourds and pumpkins.
I never would have thought, I've said this over and over again, but we started that at 2010, 2011.
Yeah.
With 15 to 25 beds, that would even be at 270 now.
Yeah.
We're at a point where bed rentals are passed on between family members.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. But, you know, even just, even when we start the season, hey, do you just use this for your own home? We have groups over there that do distribute, to those in need. Another garden concept, that, we started at Hope Park, tried a different approach, but more of a neighborhood educational ownership type setup we do with food medicine, that they do 6 beds at Cove Park. And they use it as an educational, a resource for the neighborhood and with their folks, and that's proven quite popular. So community gardening is becoming, has been another function of what we do.
Can I ask, would it be, is there an opportunity for the Cascade Park project to like either use social media or just ask the community, like, are there some plumbers who might be able to help out? Is there somebody who does do the truck bed liner that could give some suggestions
Oh,
or?
sure, I mean, we can, if there is open suggestions about short-term fix for the pool, I think it's gonna be a short-term fix, I think.
Is it
long-
really a pool or is it the fountain? I'm confused.
Both,
It's the same.
Oh,
so,
okay,
It's a
so
pool
people,
and then a fountain
Yeah.
that goes into the pool and
It's
then it
not the swim.
recirculates.
Okay, so it's the fountain.
plumbing-
yes,
It's
the
the
fountain is
lower
the
part of the fountain. Okay, I'm
Yes,
like,
yes, yes.
there's a lot of pools here. I'm like, I didn't know we had so many
Yeah.
pools. Okay,
Yeah.
all right,
Yes,
thank you.
please don't swim in the fountain.
All right, fountain, fountain, got it, got it. But the bottom part of the
bottom
fountain
part,
is the
yes.
pool, got it.
Yeah, there's somebody else out there that, or has a
Basin,
better, to
thank
your
you.
question, has a better idea on how to seal, the fountain pool,
Mhm.
to get us through to buy us some time. I mean, that's
Yeah,
kind of where we're
Yeah,
at.
or there
The end
could
of
be
last
people
summer,
who.
it kind of, it was on its last drop, the end of last summer, and it eventually just,
Oh.
it's a quick fix every year, 10 times a year, and then the project dies. And there's tons of weddings out there, and for them not to have that fountain is really, that's what they like about that, and there's
Is
weddings.
that a revenue making thing when they do weddings out there? You don't,
No.
there's no charge to the city then?
We charge a
25.
permit application fee.
$25 permit.
I'm wondering if there's people, I mean, there's some people who are, dedicated or who are appreciative of the Cascade Park and they might hear about that it may need some help.
I would definitely be willing to do promotional stuff to just put it out there and see, just get feelers out in the community. Yeah.
That'd be cool. I'd share that.
Yeah,
Kind of back to your, question, Rich. So the FY 25 budget, which is the budget we're in right now. We focused on equipment and facility this time around. So in our current budget, was repairing the mats and doing some installation work at Sawyer Arena. That came out of the feasibility study. We asked for the additional funding to replace the lights at Union Street, so. We initially had asked for 300, maybe 300,000 to do a field. In Union Street, those came in more than we had planned, so we tabled. That from the 24 budget, asked for the additional 685,000 to do all three fields.
So that's on the 25 docket.
That's in this current budget, so that's right, so I share that number with you because although we may not be doing a lot of these projects.
Right.
I mean, that's in the neighborhood of a shy of $1 million project.
Yeah.
Now, hopefully, so the bids to that didn't come in as we had hoped and planned. However, we're hopeful to get it done sooner than later, ideally this spring into the early part of the summer, and do it all at once versus in two separate installs. So essentially what that saves is a pretty big chunk of mobilization. So hopefully we can.
Can they turn a couple lights around and put them on the fields over there too?
Well, so we talk about, I mean, and into back to this. We can start to talk about lighting over there and try to do something in the meantime. But if lighting those two multi-use fields. Yeah, well, that's something we can certainly start to talk about, consider in an improvement plan. And I think somewhere in there was reference to that as well as the
So
surface.
they get a lot of use, so.
Oh, they get, yeah, that complex, and you know, being out there as long as you have. Once we open the door in April, it doesn't stop until the end of October, 1st November. Most times 7 days a week. Also, this current FY 25 plan was the topographical survey we already talked about. The organizational assessment, which is out to bid right now, so we're looking for a consultant to assess the overall organizational structure of the department. How are we committing resources, what we're doing well, what we could set as a plan for the next 5 to 10 years. It included the golf course. So you can, what's probably the most significant difference here. It intentionally did not include the golf course, and the waterfront. The waterfront, there are probably 7 plans out there right now, and the city already has one that was done for the waterfront. The waterfront has changed pretty significantly even since those plans. And the golf course property is a pretty unique amenity and probably needed, and does need a set of eyes that is more specific to that operation versus an overall facilities plan like this one. That was the logic why we did not include it. Sure. So that kind of thumbnails what we asked for in 25. The other piece to that, was, 120,000 to replace the mobile stage. Excuse me, what we refer to as the Wagger stage, that is gone, has been for a while. However, by agreements, the city has come up with, in Waterfront Concerts, has come up with an agreement to make use of their mobile stage for events. So it was used for the Festival Lights Parade. So if you went to Festival Lights Parade and saw the stage in West Market Square, actually Waterfront Concerts set that up. So they'll be doing that going forward for events as the schedule, their schedule permits, to use for events that we used to use our own portable stage for. So that worked out well for everybody. So unless there is, I mean, we'll certainly start to add in a number, budget amount for potentially lighting those 2 multi-use fields at Union Street. The lights that are there now, as far as repurposing, they are original to 1989. Yes, sir.
They don't know you anything.
So we've got some and go find these proposals. The technology now with LED lighting and shading, and will replace both the poles and obviously the fixtures. That's all part of the request that we put out for proposals, and that's what the funding will go for. I think we'll save a fair amount of money eliminating immobilization.
And on electricity.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, electricity savings over time and LED fixtures will rise pretty well. So again, I wanted to dust that off for you all. It's kind of awkward as the pages I didn't get copied, but it, as Krista mentioned, it is right. There's a link to it, both plans right on our website. There's a lot of good information still in there and a lot of information about benchmarks for the department, what we do and what we can accomplish with the resources we have compared to other departments in the region around the country. So it was good information to have and it's still relevant 3-4 years later.
How does your planning for the future fiscal years revolve around the big project upcoming?
So
This get tabled in lieu of that?
no, that will move forward. This won't affect that, and that won't affect this.
Oh,
In simplest forms, that will move forward. Our next steps are to figure out the best plan, how to get that moving forward and continue the path in a good direction to get it finally done.
Is this the Griffin Road
Yep.
project?
and that's still in engineering and budget
Yep,
at this point in time.
Yep.
What's the runway for that look like?
Typical runway for a project like that, and you probably know better than anybody, Rich, I mean, that's a 4 to 5 year project.
But in terms of getting to approval, where this is a go and this is the design and this is where we're
Well, it's
going.
within that window, so the next big step is that we'd like to get that done sooner, within the next few months, so.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Great.
Cool.
We'll see.
So then would we, once that is sort of as close as it can be, would we see that?
I'm sorry?
When would we get to see sort of whatever that final version of the plan is?
So the final version of the plan, the feasibility study, the concept that we move forward with, that's why we did the feasibility study. So there could be some adjustments to that, but overall, the concept that we'll move forward with is what the concept is in the feasibility study. Very done. And I think we agree, we have a very thorough job of doing the community outreach. A lot of the stakeholder information, a lot of stakeholder surveying and assessment, and then using some pretty objective estimating numbers and functions to arrive at the dollar amounts that they did. Certainly time will increase that. Building costs, construction costs change daily. I don't wanna keep looking at you, you're doing it every day. So, yeah, that changes often. But in concept, with what we go forward with, we pretty much have it with that plan. Could there be some tweaks and additions to it? But not enough to really take it a completely different direction.
And is that on your website as well?
Yep. The organizational assessment came out of both this plan and the feasibility study. We need to have a plan going forward of how would get staffed. With many of the things that we're doing now, are we committing what we have for staff resources in the best way? We may think we are, but sometimes an outside set of eyes that's objective to what we're doing is helpful. And it doesn't hurt for us to have someone take a look at what we're doing and assess that.
And we'll keep you posted if there's anything as we go on more, or, you know, where we're at. We'll keep you posted.
So again, I mean, you feel like this is a pretty good path continue for us to follow. We've talked about the lighting already. It could get pushed out to other years. The initial budgeting forecast for this coming year, it's really hard to say. I mean, the federal process gets to be a trickle down process to the state. And what happens at the state level affects us here at the local level. So, and we're a piece of a fairly large municipal organization. So, we've been fortunate with you all that we try to balance what we ask for and the support that you all give us. So it's truly appreciated.
Well, the Bangor resident is the new chair of the Appropriations Committee in the US Senate.
Yeah, we should-
You make a call.
Yeah. We should be able to get a couple extra bucks right here, right?
Okay, do we have any last questions or any new business that we want to bring up? If not, I'll take a motion to end the meeting.
Next meeting date?
Oh,
So I think we arrived at, I hear 13th February.
Okay.
the second Thursday
Yep.
will be the 13th. Yeah.
And again, I will say going forward, and if you can want to hear, I mean, we put the agenda together, but if there's specific agenda items that you'd like to see, I will give you a quick heads up. You may see the Kiwanis want to come before you folks to talk about some park shelter projects they'd like to do. So I'll let you know that for sure. But again, either through me directly or through Kim now, if there's an agenda item you want us to include, feel free.
I just thought of one thing that I meant to mention. We love our neighborhood skating rinks. Is it possible to have some sort of sign that is posted there? Just reminding community members that this is here on purpose and to please help be stewards and preserve this.
So the one at Fairmount is not there anymore?
No, there's no sign.
Okay. No.
And really, I mean, I know that, you know, the one set of kids that decides to smash it up won't care that there's a sign. But I feel like it's just one more step for just other community members to recognize that it is a thing so that we can all help encourage people to help preserve it rather than, so, you know, if you do see someone smashing it, that it's okay for you to go ask them to stop.
Yeah, no.
You know, that sort of thing, but like, I guess maybe just legitimizing it as a purposeful thing and a part of our parks amenities so that there isn't any question about that.
This rink is monitored by video surveillance.
Yeah, or even
Yeah.
honestly, maybe something like that, because
Those
it's
fake cannons
it's
up in a tree.
it's something really great that a lot of people can enjoy, but can be destroyed in one afternoon by the wrong people.
We did have signs and they've probably gone away. I'm glad you mentioned that. So to answer your question, yeah, we used to do some signage and it
Yeah.
talked about that. It talked about, remember these park hours, it talked about be mindful of each other. If it's a bunch of you come here with stick and puck,
Yeah,
remember, there's not everybody likes stick and puck,
Yes.
that kind of thing. The outdoor rinks have become more of a challenge in recent years with the weather.
absolutely. And that's why it's so like precious when it
Yes.
is there to keep it, because it's only a matter of, I mean, I was there today with my son. And while I was standing there, someone decided to smash it. And I asked them to move along and they did. But it is fun to smash the ice.
Oh, I know.
I'm not saying it isn't, but boy, wouldn't it be great if we could just all kind of be stewards of it together.
Oh, for sure, oh, for sure.
It's maybe that's just a dream, but I think legitimizing it with a sign would, I think, be helpful.
No, that's a good idea. Fairmount. Candidly, Mother Nature helped us more than anything else.
Yeah.
You know, the crew was over there doing some spot stuff, try and keep it going. And to your concern about when we would do ice, we'd have to do it at night,
Mhm.
because it was the coldest and it would set up, give it the better chance to set up before that kind of thing started happening in the morning as people going to school.
Yeah, I like to walk right
We
across.
really haven't done the kind of effort we used to because the weather just doesn't cooperate anymore. If it did, then we'd give it a try. The last time we really tried it with a crew, we did Fairmount and Broadway, to try and get one on the east and west side. Broadway's tough because we cross French Street, it goes down the hill. And the hydrant's quite a reach. I guess Stillwater, I think Stillwater Park,
Oh,
the little rink at the corner of Stillwater and is that Juniper that goes around the loop? Howard and Juniper goes around the loop. Is okay, but Fairmount has set up by far the best.
Mhm.
When that's probably the way we'll leave it for now. You get to the end of January to February and the sun gets higher in the sky, makes it even harder and that sort of thing. So if you get asked,
Is it an option to add any water to it?
once it's set up, it is
Since
an
we do
option,
have a
so.
nice cold spell right now.
If we can get some nights that it stays cold, we can flood a little bit more to smooth it out, but I think it's decent as it is now.
Consider this a request.
Yeah, no,
Because there are some areas where there's grass coming up through.
yeah, oh, for sure.
I mean, it is pretty great, except. Yeah, I mean, it can always be better, but
If we can get a window, a few nights that it gets really cold enough for it to set up before it gets destroyed in the morning, we'll give it a try, because the
That'd be
hydrant we
amazing.
have to use is over on Royal.
okay.
We have to come across the park from Royal Road. So. That's outdoor ice status, sorry, I
Thank
hijacked
you.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a motion to adjourn. Anyone?
Second,